All right. Welcome to another episode of Scotty Talks NBA. I am welcomed today by a very special guest, my man, Big T Wil from the Phull Court Press podcast. You can find Big T Wil at Big T Wil 34 on Twitter. Be sure to follow my man. He's always coming with the takes with the Sixers and has connects all throughout media, always providing great source of information for the Sixers. Be sure to follow Big T Wil. And of course, be sure to follow his podcast, The Phull Court Press, at Phull Court 76. That's Phull with a PH. Welcome to the show, Big T Wil. How are you doing today? How are you doing this morning, my man?
Man, what's up, Scotty? I'm happy to come on with you, man. Talk a little Sixer hoops, and the PH for Philly. That's why it's there. We got to keep it Philly 100 all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that is Phull Court Press 76, and we keeping the pressure on everybody. And we're gonna make sure that we keep the Phull Court Press on the Sixers because they let us down this last series.
Yes, sir. And I definitely hear that. We're going to get into a lot of that. Obviously, the disappointing loss to the Hawks. So let's dive in, man. I don't want to waste any of your time here. What went wrong with the Sixers in that second round series? Obviously, a lot of things went wrong. You blow a game 7 at home. You lose a total of 3 games at home throughout the whole series. You only lost 7 all season. How are you feeling? And what went wrong in your eyes, Big T Wil?
It was the mentality. They had a mental collapse. They weren't mentally strong enough. This just goes to show that this team was a fake 1 seed. And the presence of one player and Danny Green getting hurt was a big difference. And it showed. A lot of people had takes saying, "Oh, Danny Green getting hurt. It's no big deal. We can ride him out because he wasn't doing as much as they thought he would on offense." But let me give you a reason why this hurts. Danny Green is a veteran with 3 rings. So when you're up over 20 points a game and teams start making a run, he's that guy that's going to get you a bucket in those meaningful spots to stop the bleeding. No one got a bucket in those spots to stop the run until it was too late, until the Hawks had too much swag, too much confidence saying they can come back and win the game. So it hurt losing Danny Green. That was the second part. Third part that fell apart was Doc Rivers. You can't go a 10-man rotation in the playoffs. And you can't do a 10-man rotation when you're getting your clock clean. You got to tighten up. You got to play your starters, and they got to buckle down and hold the fort. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Everyone was looking around with that glazed look, like they've been knocked out. You just got up, and you're looking around, a little woozy, looking for some smelling salt.
Yeah.
And you still were up. You still were up. They had no one there who had a dog mentality to finish these games. Because if you finish the 3 games that you were up 20 points, the Sixers would be playing the Milwaukee Bucks right now.
Exactly. And I think, you hit on it right there at the end. Like those game 4 and game 5 losses, just blowing an 18-point lead and then a 26-point lead. Not to mention blowing the 18-point lead on your home court. You know what I mean? And just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying about no dogs on this team. I mean, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, they look like deer in headlights. I mean, Ben was, obviously scared to get fouled, scared to go to the free throw, scared to do anything on offense in general. And then several times, we saw Tobias Harris miss open layups. Get stuffed at the rim. I mean, it was just kind of embarrassing. And you're watching guys like John Collins, talk crap to the fans. I mean, they were out there, just showboating. He's got T-shirts with him dunking on Joel Embiid. I mean, we got trolled out of the building. And these guys couldn't step up with any type of dignity or pride to do anything about it.
And I'm glad they did, Scotty. You know why? Because it's an embarrassment. That's how the fans felt. We was embarrassed that our squad went out like that. And that's why the city right now is pissed off. Everyone needs to be pissed off if they're a Sixers fan. Everyone needs to stop holding back and stop pulling punches and being the nice guy. Be pissed off. Take this anger into the season next year. Hold this team accountable because If we expect we had high expectations, they need to have high expectations. They could
Yeah.
talk about it with that BS post that Tobias Harris put up, thanking the crowd and the season in Philly, and he knows that they got to do better and he needs to do better, and he didn't. Man, damn all that. If you knew you had to do better, you would have got the job done. You didn't get the job done because you was mentally weak. You can't go up like you did. You can't go up so soft that you get blocked time after time at the rim. Doc Rivers gave you so many opportunities to get buckets. All those buckets that you should have had, you missed. You know why? Because you were in your own head as well. He's not a number two. He's not a max guy. Tobias Harris is that guy that looks good from afar, but when you get up close on him, now you see why Orlando traded him, LA traded him, and now hopefully the Sixers could trade him.
Yep. And, just to kind of once again piggyback off what you're saying there about Tobias, I heard it. I saw this tweet that like perfectly described Tobias, and it was like, if you need 10 points, he'll get you 18. If you need 30 points, he'll get you 18. You know what I mean?
He ain't going to get you 40. He's never going to get you 40.
He's never going to get you. Yeah.
Scotty, I know exactly where you're going with. One time, man, just get me 40. I said this on our show that we just dropped. One time, give me 40.
Yeah.
Like, you carried the team. You carried the team the first half when Embiid was struggling, the one playoff game. You had 20 points in the first half. You had almost 11 rebounds and 4 assists. Carry that into the second half. Embiid said, thank you. I got you the second half. Embiid came out with 21 points, and you shriveled up with 7 points in the second half. 7! That's sad.
It's weak, man. It's weak. It's exactly what you said. And, the sad part is the fact we haven't even really gotten into Ben Simmons here.
Oh, we're going to dig in him.
Yeah.
We're definitely dig in him.
and we have to. We have to, man, because I'm looking at that series and I'm just thinking, even with all the miscues, even with Doc Rivers in these 10-man lineups, these hockey switch rotations, you see in Game 7, Shake comes in the game for the first time in the fourth quarter. I mean, just a lot of weird stuff. You had Dwight Howard getting minutes in the fourth quarter. Ben Simmons.
Real fast to touch on that is Doc Rivers was an issue. He was bad, okay? And notoriously, you blame the coach if you had, with situations like this.
Right.
Yeah, Doc, you was terrible. You're going to catch some heat. But the execution that was laid out and not followed through by the players is far worse.
Yes.
Because he drew up plays, and I'm right back on Harris. He drew up plays for Tobias Harris to get going and get off, and he didn't score. He had great looks. He had great opportunities at the rim, and he did not score. And that's why the big man will always took those bad shots in them bad spots. Yeah, Joe mentally was checked out, but he's playing on one leg, and he's still giving me everything he got. Exactly. If everyone gave me what Joe gave me, then guess what? I'd be okay with the loss. I wouldn't be okay with the loss, but I wouldn't be as angry. But they didn't give us nothing, especially at home. So you had the kill game. Game 5 was the kill game. Yep. That was a game where you were like, all right, we're done. You go to Atlanta, you're not supposed to win because the kill game was Game 5, and you won. You won Game 6 on the road to bring it home, the reason why you had the 1 seed, and you floundered it.
Yeah, and that's the craziest part. I hit it earlier, about the 3 home losses in the second round to Atlanta. You only have 7 all year, and that was part of the embarrassment, the Sixers were doing it big at home. They were riding 1 seed. You had Triple H in Game 1 ringing the bell. Just a bunch of, different celebrities, different Philly, legends coming up and ringing that bell. That was Game 5. They blew the 26-point lead in front of like Allen Iverson and Dr. J. Like, where does the pride kick in to where you're letting this little dude, and all respect to Trae Young, but like You're letting this little guy come up in your house and dominate you. I just did not understand it.
Not only that, man, they let Opie Taylor come up in their house and piss all over him. Real talk. They let Opie Taylor come in there. He gave everyone the business. Everybody. It didn't matter who they put on him. He gave y'all the business. He was going between the legs, hesitation, and it was slow as hell. But they wasn't staying with him. They weren't staying with him. He still was getting his shots. Bogdanovich got off. If he didn't get hurt, they would have won Game 6, I think Atlanta would have.
Yeah,
Bogdanovich was a guy in the offseason last season that I said the Sixers should go get. I said they should go get I said they should make the trade for Seth Curry and get rid of Josh Richardson. And that happened. And we talked about that during the bubble. I said they got to get some more shooting around Harris because Harris is up and down. I said Bogdanovich would be a perfect fit because he keeps the floor spread and he can knock down shots.
Yeah.
And he could also be somewhat of a sniper off the bench besides relying on Korkmaz.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Atlanta gave him an offer. Sacramento never matched it, and he went with Atlanta, and the Sixers never looked at him. And he came back, and it bit us. It bit us right in the ass.
Yep. Especially in that game one, where he's shushing the crowd. He was very dominating. Even, throughout probably the first 3 or 4 games, he was really on his money. So, I'm with you. And you look at Atlanta, they didn't even have, DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, who are 2 rotational pieces for them.
I wish they did because the Sixers would have matched up better. It would have been different.
That's literally what I was thinking when they announced that DeAndre Hunter was out. I was thinking, well, I know he's improved his shooting, but he's not the shooter that, Kevin Huerter or Bogdanovich, Gallinari. Mm-hmm. He's not the shooter that those guys are. So I was definitely looking at it the same way there, man. So Ben Simmons, let's talk about it. What did you see from him? What did you not see? I guess I should ask. And where are you at with Ben Simmons? I listened to your pod a little bit earlier. I got a little bit of a taste of it. But if you want to just let my listeners know kind of where you're at with Ben Simmons, what you're planning, and what you would do with him going forward.
Well, it's lucky you got me on early because I don't have so much venom running through myself right now. I'm going to try to have a good day today.
I feel that.
Ben Simmons is a liability to the Sixers. He's been here for 4 seasons, and Ben Simmons just gave all the Ben Simmons haters an opportunity to walk around and pound their chest and say, "I told you so." I was a Ben Simmons defender. I know what Ben Simmons can do. We've seen it. I know what his ability and his attributes to the game. Ben Simmons doesn't know his ability and attributes to the game, and that's an issue. I defended him for 4 years. 4 years. Now, what he did in the playoffs in the second round was like putting some wet lettuce on a hot grill. He wilted. He just wilted. He folded, and there was just no return. And on the biggest stage where everyone was watching. And the crowd was, and you can't say the crowd wasn't behind him. When he was at the foul shot, they pumped him up. Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben. The city got behind him. There's one thing about the trolls that you see on social media that don't like Ben Simmons. And it's another thing when you're in the building with 22,000 Sixer fans that want to see their team and their player do good. And that's the difference that you got to separate. Can't necessarily say the trolls are always going to be there, but they're not always going to be right because those trolls don't go to the game. When you're in that building, he gets all the love and support because he's part of our squad. And I say our squad, I'm speaking as a fan. He's part of the Sixers squad.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're going to support the kid. But, come on, Ben. Foul shots. That's free money. That's free points right there. You got to make your foul shots.
Yeah.
What happened to your offensive ability? What happened to your game? There was people that used to say he was the best post-up guy on the team. Yeah, we laugh at that now. There's no chance he is.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons is in Ben Simmons' head. It's all between his ears. It's a mental thing. He needs help, but he also needs to get out of Philadelphia. I'm done with Ben. He single-handedly cost us 2 games because the Sixers had to play 5-on-4 because he came across half court and hit. He hit. He didn't run any of the offense. Doc had to take him out because he was a liability on the Shaq and Simmons. Okay, so when you pull that the Shaq Simmons called Hacker Simmons, and you're not making your foul shots, you're a liability. You got to come off the court. Now they're saying, Ben was upset about that he got pulled out of the game, and Doc didn't show faith, and then Doc didn't back him in the media, and that's why he's upset. Well, guess what? Doc gave you the opportunity to do right to make your foul shots, and you didn't do it.
Yep.
Doc gave you the opportunity all season and backed you in the media when they started crushing you. He stood by your side. But when the time mattered, you didn't have Doc's back by making your foul shots and staying out of foul trouble with them lazy fouls.
Exactly.
Crying over those fouls. Stop throwing your hip out on the pick. You know the refs was calling all those BS fouls. Time and time again, you sitting there with these donkey fouls, you and Dwight Howard putting the team behind the 8 ball because you think you're being aggressive, but you're playing dumb. And then when you go on the offensive end, you're afraid to play your game because you have foul trouble. Yep. And now what does that do, Scotty? It makes the players think. When a player starts thinking about how to play, you lost.
Yep.
And that's what happened with Ben. We lost Ben because he was in foul trouble and he was thinking about the game instead of playing the game. And we can't have that. We can't have that no more after 4 seasons. And then he did the most egregious thing in the world. You sat in your presser and said, I am who I am. It is what it is. I'll be better. What?
Not what you want to hear.
You are who you are? Well, guess what? If someone shows you who they are, believe it. And you showed me who you are, especially with those comments. So guess what, man? Pack your bags and get the F out of Philly, man. Real talk. We're going to keep it 100. We keep it 100 on Phull Court Press. We're going to keep it right here with Scotty Talks, man. Y'all got to get out of here. We are not doing this. We are not going another season with you being who you are, and it is what it is, and that's how it's going to be. No. We have expectations in this city. The process was started to have people like yourself and Embiid paired up to take us to the promised land. This is Embiid's prime. This year started his prime.
Yeah.
We are not wasting the big man's prime because you are too selfish and too ignorant to step your game up to realize that you have an opportunity to win the NBA championship right now. Because I'll tell you something. There's not going to be another window of opportunity. Not like this. You had Harden hurt, KD trying his best to carry that team across the finish line. Kyrie hurt. Giannis was that was a heavyweight matchup. Those two teams beat the piss out of each other.
Yeah.
Giannis was half hurt. His team was hurt. Jimmy Butler's team was down. And you had the Atlanta Hawks. You had to beat the Atlanta Hawks, and you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. That West is all beat up. LeBron was out. Jamal Murray was hurt. Spider was coming off an injury. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Kawhi's out.
Kawhi's out. You got playoff Paul, who's not really a player as well. So, I mean, this is wide open. This was wide open for you to just take the title, and you didn't do it.
You didn't.
And I bet you they're like a third or fourth seed next year. The Nets are coming back healthy. Milwaukee's going to be on a high. Excuse me, Saudi. Milwaukee's going to be on a high. Miami, they're going to be retooled.
Yeah.
Look out for the Knicks. The Knicks showed me something. They're going to be retooled. If the Sixers don't make the right moves, they're not going to be the 1 seed again.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
Especially if they come back with this
agree.
team.
Yeah, exactly. And just to kind of piggyback off your point there, we talked all regular season about how important it was to get the 1 seed and matchups. Once you get to the second round, you want to avoid, Milwaukee or Brooklyn. And it still just didn't even take advantage of it. Totally wasted home court advantage. The first time you get the 1 seed in 20 years. So just totally wasted that opportunity. The last thing I wanted to get to with you, Big T Wil, where do the Sixers go from here? I know you said, pack your bags, Ben. Do we trade him in the offseason? I was listening to your pod a little bit earlier. I know you had said that you might see him back on the roster. You think that he will be back on the roster early next season. What are your thoughts as far as Ben Simmons? How does this play out? Because my thoughts initially with Ben Simmons coming back next season is as soon as this pops up again, Philly is going to be on fire. It's as soon as he has one of those games where he only puts up like 3-4 shots, only has 5 points. So where do you stand with Ben Simmons, even Tobias Harris, the whole team? Who's off the table? Is everyone available, outside of Joel? How are you feeling?
Well, let me go back to my notes here because it's a great question. And I addressed that on our show. Here we go. I addressed that on our show. The only people that I'm keeping, now if I'm the GM, the only people that are untouchable, obviously, is Embiid. And it's Tyrese Maxey and Matisse Thybulle. They're my three.
Embiid and
those three. Maxey looks like he's going to have some dog in him. He wasn't afraid of the moment. Yeah. So, I'm not getting rid of Maxey. Matisse's defense has grown. He's got to learn how to shoot. He's got to get in the lab. He's got to get in there with Drew Hanlon or some shooting doctors or shooting coaches, and he's got to get better because he could turn into that 3-and-D guy that we need.
Yeah.
He's also got to learn how to stay on his feet because he had a lot of just awful fouls and awful moments. But Matisse had awful fouls and awful moments throughout the season.
Yeah.
Down the stretch, the last 24 seconds in every quarter, Matisse was fouling a 3-point shooter. He's got to stop doing that. But I could work with Matisse. Yeah. Because his game has grown.
And
outside that, Scotty, I mean, Danny Green's not under contract. Dwight Howard's not under contract. Korkmaz, Mike Scott, Gary Clark, Rajon Tucker, they're all going. You only have Shake, Grant Hill. I wish it was Grant Hill.
Right.
You only got Shake, George Hill, Tyrese Maxey, and Matisse Thybulle really under contract. I'm not talking about Isaiah Joe and Paul Reed. They're rookies. They might even be blue coat guys next year again. Who knows? But that's your core. So, I want to focus on the bench, but I can't because I got to focus on our core right now. Yeah. We got to get a dog in here. We got to get a number 2 in here. We got to get a number 2 guy in here because Harris is not a number 2 guy.
No.
All right. We've been with Harris for 3 seasons. It's the same old. All right. Yeah. 20 point 20. Yeah. It looks great. It looks great on paper, but you're not shining in the moment.
Exactly.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons. Okay. You asked me what you do with Ben Simmons. Yes. I think Ben Simmons is coming back as a Sixer because his inability on offense has hindered his value of a trade in the offseason. No one's going to trade for him not knowing that he can't make his foul shots and he hasn't improved on his offensive game. So that's why it has to be some kind of package that blows the Sixers away for them to pull the trigger in the offseason. Him and Rich Paul can demand trades all they want. You can't demand a trade and have the offensive inability that he has.
Yeah.
To, basically to say, all right, we want to be traded to here. Because here's going to say, nah, we don't need that. We love his defense. We love everything he brings to the table. But, and that but is really big.
Yeah.
That but is really big, so That's why I think he will be here. The Sixers got to, stay faced. Oh, we're going to put commitment into Ben Simmons. We're going to stand behind our guy. He's very talented. They said all the right things. They're going to give him the resources. I think they will. They are going to work with him in LA, and he's going to have to put in the work. Yeah. Now, here's my question to you, Scotty. Ben Simmons comes back next season, home opener. There might be a little bit of booze, smothered in there, but rightfully so, because people are still bitter. And there's going to be some cheering. Ben Simmons gets the ball, and the crowd wants him to shoot, and he shoots the ball. And then he comes down and he shoots it again. And then he comes down and he shoots a three. Everybody is pulled right back in.
Yep.
Because you're saying, why couldn't you do this last season or the seasons prior? So he starts shooting the ball. He's knocking down jumpers. He's going in the lane. He's dunking. He's doing his bull, the snot nose and everything. And yeah, he's out there flexing, doing what we saw Ben Simmons do.
Right.
And everyone's hyped. I still want him traded. Because I know eventually when the spotlight's on, he's not going to be there for me. But he's got value now. Because now he's showing NBA executives and coaches across the league that I improved on my game. I'm taking the jump shot. And he could turn out to be lethal. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons add offensive game to what he has now. He's lethal. Do you really want to trade that? That's a decision Daryl Morey's going to have to make. And that's the thing that fans are going to have to come to grip with is, do you really want to get rid of this guy now that he's got an offensive game in his fifth year, age 24? He'll be 25 during the season. It's hard. It's hard to grasp this. It's hard to put this in perspective, but you're so angry and you're so bitter at this guy for not dunking on Trae Young, for not taking jump shots when he should, for hiding because he was afraid to go to the foul line. That outweighs everything right now because of the situation we were in. So, yeah, it sucks, but he might not go anywhere. He might not. There's not too many packages out there in the NBA that the Sixers are going to jump for joy for getting rid of Ben Simmons. And you're just not going to get rid of him for peanuts.
Yeah.
That's why I said he's going to be back, Scotty.
And, I tend to agree with you just, based on everything that you're saying. If the market value is not there for Ben Simmons, I don't see Morey trading him just to trade him. I see it all over Twitter, these, trade machines. And it's like, well, I don't get the point of those. They're like kind of like mock drafts to me. Like, you don't have a clue on how these people are thinking. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how they value Ben Simmons. Because the thing with Ben Simmons is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So maybe there is a coach out there that thinks, I can fix this guy, get him out of Philly. We can work on his mental and, open up his talent. But there's also the other end that you said there. He's a great defensive player, but what the hell is he on offense? Is he a power forward? Is he a point guard? That's the other thing. I've seen people talking on Twitter about switching him to power forward. He was kind of playing power forward already. He was handing the ball off. He was in the dunker spot, like on the baseline. So what would he do different? Like, I don't, what I mean? I don't get it. I don't know what to do from here, but I guess we'll see how it plays out this offseason. Big T Wil, thank you once again for joining the show, my man. I'm going to get you out of here, but before we end the show here, I just wanted to give you the moment. Plug yourself. Let all my listeners know what you got going on with the Phull Court Press.
Man, you already did it for me, man. If I have me on here, Scotty Talks, man. So I appreciate you. Yeah, man, just follow at Phull Court Press 76. That's PHULL Court 76. Check out our IG. It's in our bio. Check out our t-shirt sales because all our sales and proceeds go to the the local food banks in the winter for Thanksgiving and Christmas for all the people who need it during the holiday seasons. We try to put food back on the table. So, anything you guys, donate throughout the year, that's greatly appreciated. So make sure you guys grab a shirt, grab a hoodie. Hoodie season's always year round. And, just know that your money's going to a great cause. Yeah, man, just stick with us because we got some things coming up. With this week's podcast, we talk a little Sixers with Anthony Gargano. We got next week. It's funny because you said something about the trade simulators out there. Well, I went to those cities. All those people that were there, I had someone coming on from Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay.
Nice.
So I saw a trade simulator from Cleveland. So I reached out to my guy in Cleveland. He's coming on the show. I reached out to San Antonio. I got someone from San Antonio on the show. I reached out to Portland, and that would be a must listen. A must listen.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
I got someone who covers Portland. He was on the show. So the next 3 to 4 weeks, that's going to carry us through the month of July. I've already talked to these people about these trades, these trade simulations, and what the teams across the league are thinking about Ben Simmons. So you got to stay with us and ride with us. I also reached out to someone in Washington. So because the Washington would be that dance partner that the Sixers may need if they get a big package. Now, these are things that are in the pipeline that we are going to wait each week to drop. So just like you, Scotty, how I follow your shirt, because I always look to see what you're going to drop. Everyone's got to be patient and wait because you can't overload the fan base.
Yeah.
Let's all commiserate. It's been a week now. So next week, let's start firing off and find out what's going on with the 76ers. Is Ben staying? Is he going? What do the team execs think? What are they writers saying in other cities? Because our writers ain't telling us crap. They ain't telling us nothing, okay? They just giving us the runaround. And whether they know or not, they're not going to tell us anyway till after it's done.
Exactly.
They have certain laws to abide by, and which is cool. But it sucks at the same time that we're sitting on edge trying to figure out what the hell's going on, looking at our local guys, but they really can't tell us only but so much. So as we say on Phull Court Press, man, follow the tea leaf, Scotty, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all, my man. Thank you for coming on once again, TWil. I know I will be checking out the Phull Court Press there. I'll be waiting for those episodes. I'm waiting for the tea. So definitely let me know when those drop. But thank you once again, TWil. I'll get you out of here. Everybody that tunes into this episode, thank you for watching. As you know, you can follow me on Twitter at Scotty Drowned. And of course, you know that this podcast is presented by Heat Ratio Sports and DSM Media. You can find Heat Ratio Sports on Twitter and Instagram at Heat Ratio Sports. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you once again, Big T Wil. Everybody be sure to go follow my mans. That's going to be it for this Scotty Talks episode, everybody. Peace.